Motaz, thank you so much for joining us on the Fade to Black podcast. How are you today?
I'm all right, not bad. How are you?
Yeah.
Thank you for
I'm
having me also.
no, thank you. It's like London Film Festival is a very tiring time. And I imagine when you're traveling the world with such a movie as The Voice of Hind Rajab that it's a difficult balance of being able to celebrate the success but also understanding what we're celebrating the craft of filmmaking while the tragic event that happened that could have been preventable and the continuing genocide that is happening in Gaza and placing occupied Palestine territory. So I guess my question is, yeah, how are you doing and how do you balance those feelings?
Well, if you're asking me how I'm feeling, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and but also I'm grateful for the success that the story is getting around the world, if I'm being realistic with it. It Yeah, I do agree with you. It's like it's not the kind of a movie you could like really after the screen go and throw a party. It's it's uh, it's a heartbreaking story. So yeah, it's there's lots of great things that we felt so grateful for it, like from the awards to the standing ovations. We're so grateful. It's unexpected. I always, as also an actor, I always think about the worst case scenario. I don't think about only positive. I am positive person in life and in my career, but like it's always is good to think about the worst case scenario, just to protect yourself. But if I'm being honest, we were kind of well received in the festival we've been to till now. Is so much of festival they really opened their doors and their hearts for us and for the Voice of Hind Rajab to be presented in there. So it's an honor and you feel grateful for it.
Yeah. I think for me, cinema is the tool is an empathy machine. It's a
Mm,
way for people around the world to understand something that could be quite local.
hmm.
As much as obviously the story of Hind was in the news in January of 2024,
Yeah,
it can be lost in the continual kind of devastation that goes on. And I
yeah,
think, as someone who's I'm half Tunisian, I'm Arab, and it really means a lot to me to celebrate and platform Arab Palestinian stories and cut through the kind of, the chaff of like news stories, the rolling news channel, and actually understand the kind of granular detail of what went on. And I think for Kaouther to focus in on the Red Crescent volunteers, I thought that was a really powerful framework to
yeah,
understand the work that goes in.
yeah.
So I guess for you signing on to this, knowing that you're going to be playing Omar, a real person, like how was it when you read the script? And I guess the chance to speak to the Red Crescent volunteers to understand exactly what went on and articulate the kind of hope but frustration of trying to save lives when everything is working against you.
Yeah. First of all, because you mentioned Tunisia, and that movie started because of Tunisian a great director and a great producer, which is the director is Kaouther Ben Hania,
Mm.
and the producer who was with her and always working with her, his name is Nadim Sheikh Roha. So those people are legends. They started with the idea, then other amazing producer like Odessa Ray and Jim Wilson joined them also, and other executive producer also on the way joined them. So there was something like I need to say like we are so grateful to have them, especially somebody also like Kauthar. She's just a genius. Eh, there was something so beautiful that's and also sad in the same time because you are portraying like a real thing, a real story, a real event. It's not something fictional like from the outside world. It's something that's happened, recorded, documented. So it wasn't an easy thing also because Kauthar did a great investigation. We need to I need to establish that and the information she got, you could see how she dedicated. her time to really investigate and to honor the story in the best way she can do. But also there is the part of the actor that you need to investigate your own side, especially with the guy, the person you are gonna portray, because you can't just do the role based on you as an actor. Doesn't make sense. That person is alive. Omar Alqam is a person who worked at the Red Crescent and he's still alive and he's still working. And I did my part where I went to talk to him, which wasn't easy at the beginning. But then bit by bit, we build amazing friendship. And me and Omar, even till now, and I think forever, we will be friends. We talk every few days, and I never met him face to face. We always FaceTiming each other because I am from Palestine and was born in Palestine, but 4 years ago I moved to London. But I hope that next month we are meeting face to face. So it's finally without the phone and the cameras.
Mm.
Uh, he was so helpful. He helped me so much to understand him as a character, and he was so open. In the beginning, it was hard because it felt it's not easy to ask him like any question you're gonna ask is gonna open the wounds for him. So the first time I called him, we chatted a little bit, and then he told me, "I'll get back to you in half an hour," and he disappeared. And I felt like I was swallowed in guilt. I felt
Mhm.
so bad that maybe I shouldn't have done any of this, but in the same time, I wanna portray him with honor, with not with like just my thoughts and that's it. Because I'm playing a live person role. I want to be like to do it in the best way I can do as an actor. So you just honoring them. So, but later he called me back. He told me details that was mind blowing for me, and it wasn't easy because the whole story is like it's heartbreaking story. So, but I'm so grateful for the relationship I built between me and the character I'm playing, which is Omar Alcom.
Mm. I think what I love as Calther as a filmmaker, I mean, I love Beauty and the Dogs, the
Wow.
20s, and I find that, for me, this film had so much in common with that. The
Mhm.
painstaking kind of realistic approach to dealing someone trying to do something when systemic oppression is happening. So
Mhm.
with this character trying to report a rape by to the police, even though she was raped by police officers, and in this case where these impossible choices that the Red Crescent have to make, yourself and a mayor having to play Omar Mati, who, do you risk a depleting workforce of ambulance drivers to save one child? It's these awful decisions.
Yeah.
But there were certain moments in it where I just thought, the cigarettes, the smoking, and it felt like this kind of rippling through this kind of the short-lived relief you can get when something's too stressful. We start with the people smoke or the volunteers smoking, and then you're constantly like, I want to smoke. You can't smoke in here. And I think for me, those little moments really anchored the kind of reality of the situation, the real people of it. So I'd love to know, were there particular things that anchored you in your performance to knowing who Omar was, as well as obviously talking to Omar and getting his views, but in your performance, little moments that help you anchor and got you back into that frame of mind.
It's many things, but what was mind blowing for me, uh, I don't know if you have seen the film, but there was something that was mind blowing for me when Omar told me like our distraction for some of us at the Red Crescent because we are dealing with so much emotional stories every day that we play games sometimes, so
Yeah,
we distract ourselves. That was like I was like, what? Some
yeah,
people they even would watch the movie and they would like, why this part in there? But this is real.
yeah,
That's them. And you can't like tell them like, oh, this is not the right way to distract yourself from. No, that's what they chose, and that's what they have in there. And he says to me, it helps him so much, like to distract himself with a game on his
yeah.
phone. That was kind of like seriously mind blowing for me. And I think it took me time to understand it, but in the end, I understood it because we talked to like we have long, long conversations, me and Omar. That was. that was mind blowing for me. There's some details that's also was mind blowing for me, but some stuff I can share. Some stuff it's I don't just I decide not to share,
Mm,
just because like you want to protect also the privacy of their lives. But those
mm,
are like for me, those are the real heroes on the ground. Those are the
yeah.
people who've been fighting even like to the last second to save life because they
Mm,
believe in hope and they
yeah.
believe in life, and that's why they're doing this. So that's one of the things that was like shocking for me. That
Because
the
it was
game, that
fighter games as well. And you're
yeah,
kind of like, you're playing a fighter game and
yeah,
it's this, but no one can really kind of understand what people need
yeah,
in order to get that short
yeah,
lived
yeah,
relief.
because we are not in their shoes. We are not
Yeah.
working that job. So for us, it takes us time to understand it. But maybe if we dig deep into their lives and the situation they are living in, that's they're dealing with thousands of calls every day, similar to hints.
Mm,
Uh, so that's the way they decided to distract themselves so they don't get into the hole of depression forever.
mm,
So I think if it helps them, why not?
yeah.
Like
I
that's my opinion about it.
Absolutely. Um, and look, these games aren't harming anyone.
No,
So,
exactly.
people play Call of
Exactly.
Duty and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but can be pacifists.
Yeah.
Um, um, I mean, what I love is the way, especially one of the final scene where we have you guys all in that room and then we switch between the perspective of you, the actors, and then we're seeing the real recordings of those moments. And I imagine you must have had access to a lot of the phone calls, the recordings, and even to understand, I guess, how Omar would have said something, delivered a line. How valuable was that for you? How much did you study those recordings? And as much as you can, because you'll it must be so difficult and traumatizing to be reliving the last moments of someone's life.
Yeah.
So I guess like how did you manage that, and how did you take care of yourself, especially on set as a collective coming together to do this?
And how we protected ourselves because we had so much love from the team in there. We had like literally, we were like, there was so much care on set, but still, it wasn't also an easy experience. So I had panic attacks on set, real panic attacks. There was some moment where I felt my heart gonna explode, and this is like what I felt for real. And my body couldn't stop shaking, and I was crying like for long, like for half an hour, I couldn't stop. But there was so much love and care from the
Mm,
producers, from the staff, everyone in the crew, from the director, especially Kaouther. Like she was like so careful, such a great human being. Uh, so that love really protected us. That
yeah.
love that I can't forget. The love we have received on this set, the freedom we have received on this set, the care we have received on this set is beyond the words I can say. Like any words I'm gonna say, like it's not gonna justify what we received from them. It wasn't an easy experience because the stories, like even if you are made out of iron, it will melt
Mm,
you. And the idea, like about that scene you talked about the mix between the real thing and the film, which is both real, but this is the real. Uh, that was a genius idea. Even when Kauthar
yeah.
was talking about it, I was like, how can we do this? This is like really hard. This that needs a lot of technique also,
Timing.
timing and moving, which was one of the hardest scene to film.
Yeah.
But she did it she's
Yeah.
just she's a pro director. That's where you see like this woman, amazing woman, Kaouther Ben Hania. She's like a treasure. She's a treasure
Yeah.
for the whole world, not just the Arab world or Tunisia. She's a treasure, and I believe Kaouther Ben Hania will be like in the future. Maybe now it's already happening. Like in many schools, they will be teaching the way she's making movie because she's one of a kind. So
I totally.
I'm so honored that I had the chance to do something with Kaouther Ben Hania, especially with a story like this. Like I hope like if we had like more happy story to do with each other, but that's the situation, that's the reality, what's happening in it, and And that's the movie we end up doing.
Yeah.
So she's a genius. That's all I can say. And yeah, there was so much commitment and love in this set.
Everything you just said, I love Kauther. It makes me like really proud to be Tunisian, like on
You
so to
should
have
be.
her. I mean, I love
Likewise.
all her films. And I think
Likewise.
I think she's got such a keen eye, especially even with Four Daughters, where it's sort of like this very like hybrid, kind
Mm,
of like heightened documentary fiction approach, but then dealing with this real story and the unreliableness on that. But
yeah.
then this approach is like you have to get the granular detail right. Otherwise, and I was speaking to Anne Marie Jassir last night for
Mm,
Palestine 36, and we were talking
mhm,
about how that film being, in many ways, a course correction to the films that are like
yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia, Exodus. But there's so much pressure, I feel, that on making films about Palestine when historically they have been maligned, especially in the West, in the Hollywood and Occidental view,
Mhm.
that there's so much scrutiny on a film like this to get it right. And I guess like, is that something that you felt on set as well with the way that Kauther was making it? You as actors, it's not just about getting it right for Hind and for her family and every child and person who has been affected had been maimed or murdered by this
Mm,
terror state, but also understanding that there's going to be so much scrutiny on that people are ready to pick it apart if there's anything they think is like rings true. Do you know what I mean? Especially when it
yeah.
gets out into the wide
Yeah.
world.
Well, there was less a focus like to Hind is the center of this story. That's what was like in there. That's our direction. We need to serve Hind story, and she's the center, not the army, not the world, not she's the center of this story. So that was something I loved so much, and I was like, that's the kind of a movie I want to be in. It's like even when I was reading the script is most of it like based on the recording. So there's nothing even added or like there's only some stuff in the scenes, which is like not on the phone call. That's being written in a smart way, also based on records, because the whole day was recorded in the Red Crescent that day. Eh, but I really love that we are like putting hints in the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something that we all agree on, that's we are there just to share this story. There was no star vibes, no ego vibes, and I think that what made the movie, the commitment, the love, and this, like we all really want to share the story because we need her voice to be heard all around the world. We need to be the echo for this child. And Hind story, like, can through Hind story can understand how many children been through things like Hind.
Yeah. Well, I think you should be very proud of yourself. You've created something really beautiful and a
Thank you.
cinematic record of something that shows the best and the worst of humanity. Um, I hope as many people see this film. I mean, as much as you can win accolades, I hope you win accolades just so that more people hear about it. But your performance is amazing.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for your time.
Thank
I
you for
should.
having me. عايشك عايشك. يلا بسلامة.
Yeah, so
باي. Thanks. Bye bye.
okay.